get better at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at home? You can't. No, I'm just kidding. There's a bunch of different ways. And I'm going to start with getting stronger and getting your body more physically capable for Jiu-Jitsu, then progress into some of the ways you can technically get better, increase your Jiu-Jitsu technique. And the reason why I'm saving that towards the end is because honestly you should be doing that in class. That's why you go to class, and you're going to have much better results working with a partner. That being said, I personally have gotten a lot of benefit out of some home drills, so at the end of the video we'll make our way towards that. First and foremost, let's get physically prepared for Jiu-Jitsu. One of the things we need to be able to do is stand up, and a tactical stand-up is a very beginner or basic technique. It involves planting one foot, planting one hand, and using our other leg to stand up. Pretty simple, but I'm going to be honest. If you haven't practiced standing up, you might end up getting, a little bit, I'm exaggerating obviously, but when you're in the middle of a match and someone pushes you over and you have it programmed in you to stand up like this, you can come in and reattack. So those are two things that we can do. We can do tactical stand-ups. We can continue to repeat this motion with both sides. It will make you stronger, it will make you better at Jiu-Jitsu, and then you can also practice your mechanics of wrestling takedowns. Now, be advised, if you do this a bunch of different times on the mat or on rug like this, you'll probably get some burn on your legs, so wear protective garments over your legs if you're going to do that. Other things that we can do is we can do down and ups, different variations. I would like to touch my feet to the back of the floor. If I can't, I can just start to swing up, but that will help to increase our flexibility. So that's the first way, where I tuck my leg. I can do either leg. See, when I come back, I tuck my leg. A little bit harder is to do both feet at the same time, but that gets your balance a little bit better. Another one I like to do is called butt touches, or I don't know. Should probably come up with a better name for that. If you have a better name for butt touches that's not as weird, drop it down in the comments. Tripod up, going to be in all fours. Take one hand and your opposite foot, sort of like we were going to do a tactical stand-up, except we're going to grab our top of the foot, not the bottom, not the shin, top of the foot, as if you were going to go for a toe hold. We're going to try to straighten our leg out. But instead of staying down here, seated, while I'm explaining, what we want to do is have consistent and fluid motion, so it should look something like this. You should be able to breathe the whole time you're doing this, but I've done a bunch of these back to back, so my heart's starting to get up, and I'll need a minute to catch my breath. And while I do that, I'm going to get into another thing that we can do. We can stretch. All of the different stretching things that you're going to do in your Jiu-Jitsu class, maybe before, you can do now. I'm a big fan of opening up the hips, things like butterfly stretches, pigeon lunges. We can start to rotate around the hip. Other things that help, we can lean forward, we can reverse that, we can come back. All of these things are going to help us get a little bit more flexible, which will not only protect our body in Jiu-Jitsu, but we'll be able to do better moves. If you want to relate it to Jiu-Jitsu, something that you can do if you're a fan of Eddie Bravo, you can practice your rubber guard. Pull this in on the other foot. We're sort of stretching our hip out here. We can do triangles where we lock our feet together. If you want to up a notch, you can add a little rotation while you do it. So those are some things you can do, and general things, like push-ups, or if you want to start to progress through push-ups, you can do wide push-ups, push-ups to the side. And if you get really good at this, one of my youth students can just rep these out, and it's crazy. It took me a really long time to get good at these one-handed push-ups. It's a weird kind of technique, looks a little floppy, but best I got. You can also do handstands. If you want, you can practice pushing up. All these things will make you better at Jiu-Jitsu because they're increasing your functional strength. Oh, cartwheels, that's a great one. If you've ever seen people do cartwheel passes, being able to control your body like that, super helpful. Now, I'm gonna cut while I catch my breath. And let me get into some of the things that we can do to increase our technique. The number one benefit that I've gotten was using something like a towel, or in this case some gi pants. It doesn't really matter as long as it's made of fabric and you can roll it up to about the thickness of a human neck. You can also just use your leg in this case, but for demonstration purposes, I'm going to use this rolled up pair of gi pants. Practice your rear naked choke mechanics. So don't be lazy and just slap your hand around it like this. You know, if we're going to do it like our Lord Savior John Danaher recommends, we can take our hand, we can point the thumb, so that way if someone's putting their jaw down, we are able to grind that in between the crevice right here. We can start to open our hand up, walk, 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 walk. When we have a fully sunken rear naked choke grip right here, I did this over 200 times in the mirror. I would come, I would hide my hand, I would slide it across, lock it up, and finish the mechanics. And I did this on both sides. I would practice all the way finishing the move, and it made me much more confident in my mechanics, to the point where most people can put not only their chin, but both hands in. And if I lock in the proper grips, I'm fairly confident that I can make most people fall asleep. Just the way Khabib did to Conor McGregor, you can sort of compress their jaw into their neck and still provide enough squeezing pressure around all areas of the neck to start to shut off blood flow. So practice your mechanics. Another thing you can do, I guess if you have a gi and you really want to be a dork about it, now this is only if you really want to be a dork, but if you're watching this channel, you probably do, because I want to be a dork as well. Dorks drink kombucha, by the way. If you aren't drinking kombucha and you're still watching this channel, what are you doing? We can practice our gi chokes, things like cross collar chokes. If you want to be a super goober, you can put your own gi on. You can practice your gi chokes on yourself. We can take our standard cross collar grip and we can practice these mechanics. If you want to see more videos, we can watch here. Os.